AGUA set regular call meeting November 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Call to order. Roll call. Maribel Diaz. Absent. Maria Tejerina. Present. Ana Maria Perez.
Present.
Ricardo Perez.
Here.
Jose Luis Ochoa.
Present.
Roel de Hoyos.
Present.
Dr. Diana Villarreal. Absent. We do have a quorum. Item number B. Pam. Location.
Heavenly Father, as we gather today to conduct matters of business for AGUA, may you give us your guidance, wisdom, and knowledge to make the best decisions for the ratepayers and employees. Lord, let this meeting be productive and let your peace surround us today. We ask these things in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item D, public comments. Mr. Salinas.
Yes, sir. Mr. Vice President, members of the board, we have with us Mr. Domingo Villarreal Jr. He's with Faith Fellowship Bible Church that he would like to comment.
Good evening or good afternoon, board members. My name is Domingo Villarreal Jr. and I am here on behalf of our pastor, Domingo Villarreal III, which is my son. He had, somebody had a heart attack, so he had to go to the hospital. We got a letter from AGUA Water Supply, which you all represent, and it's going to change our monthly bill from $5 to $197.25. And this is on the fire suspension system. And we do have two water meters. The church water meter, we're paying $300 and some a month. And on this other one, we haven't used that since we built our church. And I think it's almost about 5 years. And I just want to let you all know that if you can help us, because we represent the area from Sullivan City, Los Ebanos, Cuevitas, Havana, La Joya, Peñitas, Palmview, and Abram, and all those areas. People come to our church, and there are people that are coming in because they need some help. Because we also provide with the food bank and with the City of Peñitas. We give out food to the people, and the church is for the community, and it's a non-profit organization, just like this one right here, non-profit organization. So we would like for you all to look into this and to see how you can help us out. It's not a law from Austin, I don't think so. It's a law that was made by you all. And we're not the H-E-B or those big stores, you know, that can afford something like that. And our first payment will be this month, November the 12th, 2024. And if we can meet with the director, Robert Salinas, I know it's kind of hard to meet with him, but I know that he can meet with our church to seeing what, you know, you all can help us. And I know you cannot make a decision because it's a public meeting. So I just want to let you all know that we help a lot of the areas from Tom Gill and all those areas who are in very much need of the church. If you all knew, sometimes we have to stay late to help out with the people that come in with, some of them need clothing, but we keep on trucking.
I think
We
the
keep on
district's,
doing,
I think the district's management can meet with y'all,
okay.
outside of the meeting,
Well,
of course, but
that-
we definitely appreciate your public comments.
Thank you. I don't know your name, but thank you very much for that. And I'm not going to continue because no quiero hacerlo llorar. I don't want to make you all cry. But I hope that you all can help us.
Thank you, amigo.
And God
Thank
bless
you.
you all. And we pray for you all to continue doing the tremendous job that you're doing here at AGUA Water Supply. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, number 2, minutes. Item A, approval of minutes for September 9th, 2024, our board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Perez, I have a second by Mr. Perez. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 2B, approval of minutes for October 7th, 2024, our board meeting.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Perez,
Second. Second.
second by the Hoyos. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, discuss and possible action selecting employee health insurance plan and all voluntary auxiliary products as presented by Newkirk and Newkirk.
Yes, sir. Mr. Vice President, members of the board, we have Mr. Pierre Newkirk. He's going to go ahead and present the item, but before he does so, I just want to remind the board that on October 18, 2024, the Health Insurance Committee met to review the proposals for our 2025 health insurance plan, including the renewal rates from our current provider, United Healthcare, which reflect an increase compared to last year. After carefully the committee considering all the proposed plans, the committee strongly recommends Blue Cross Blue Shield, alternate number 2, plan number 2, as preferred medical plan for 2025. This plan features lower deductibles of $2,500, which will significantly ease the financial burden on our employees while maintaining comprehensive coverage. With that, I'll leave Mr. Pierre to go ahead and present this item.
Thank you, Mr. Salinas. Again, good evening. My name is Pierre Newkirk. I have made arrangements for you all to have, there should be a total of,
Let me, for the record, at 6:09, Ms. Dr. Diana Villarreal just walked in. Go ahead.
14 pages. So if we can start off with page number 1. So page number 1 is going to show you from left to right your current with your United Healthcare, with your current benefits, which will mimic on the right-hand side your current United Healthcare with your renewal. You had an increase employee-only premium from $644.81 to $677.05. Again, benefits did not change, just the premium. Anybody have any questions on page 1? You kindly go to page 2. Again, from left, this would be using your current premium, which would be your new premium if you decided to stay with United Healthcare for the renewal. And we did come out with United Healthcare alternative plans. They were not as competitive as the ones that Blue Cross and Blue Shield have put on the chalkboard for you all, if you wish. So there are 2 plans. The first plan, both plans with Blue Cross are PPOs. The first plan is going to mimic what your United Healthcare plan has with a deductible, the same max out of pocket, the same copay for the office visits. The only difference would be the drug card. It is from a 0 to a 250 instead of a 3-tier drug card. Your urgent care was 25 with your current UHC plan. It goes to 75. The ER visit goes from 400 to 500, but the premium does drop to $633.96 from your renewal premium, which would be $677.05. On the right side is the other PPO plan, which Mr. Salinas is leaning toward, and so is the committee that had met with us. This has got a $2,500 deductible, a 70% coinsurance with a $5,500 max out of pocket. And I'll stop there and go all the way back to your left on the blue sheet where your max out of pocket with your current plan is $8,150. So it is a significant savings to the employee if they chose this particular plan. The max out of pocket would be $5,500. The copay stays the same at $35 and $70. The drugs go from $0 to $250. And the ER urgent care is $75 instead of $25, and the ER emergency room copay would go from $400 to $500. The rate would be $648.41. Questions? No questions. All right, we're going to keep going, because we're going to bypass this for 1 minute and go to page 3 for me. So because we have an out-of-pocket expense, we are talking about 2 configurations, the medical and the gap, on both plans. The first plan in the green, which is your plan number 1 with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, that's the $5,000 to mimic your current plan description, $8,150, etc. By adding the gap to it, so therefore your employee would have a 0 out of pocket, it would cost you $726.58. Your renewal would be $677. So I'd be asking you for more money if I would decided to pay 100% of that premium. Okay? On the right side, with the PPO plan and the gap, if you put those figures together, the $648, the $80, it's $729.32. That's if AGUA took responsibility and say, we're going to go ahead and pay 100% of all the premiums, that's what it would be. Okay? Any questions so far? Let's go to the last 2 pages. And I want you to concentrate on the one that says medical, dental, life rates. So it'll show your United Healthcare in like a burnt orange, and then the renewal with United Healthcare, then the first alternative Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and then the second alternative plan. This would include your total premium that AGUA pays for the medical, the dental, and the medical, the dental, and the life insurance. That's all you all's responsibility. 100% of the employee only. You're spending $659.31. Okay? The renewal with your medical, dental, and life insurance is $703.55. That's what you would be paying today if we didn't go anywhere. Okay? So you're saving money on that particular plan. On the right side is the plan that the committee wanted to go with, which is $673.76. Still savings from your renewal rate of $703.55. Everybody following me? Anybody got any questions so far? All right.
Would be $3 more than their current.
That is correct. $3 more.
Okay, so.
All right. In the middle is the actual savings is $772.80 if you went with the same identical plan design. If you went with the alternative, it would increase by $224.25.
Why do we want to do that?
I'm just giving you all options. It's not that I'm just making suggestions of what you guys have as far as options that you all would make a decision on.
So highlight what would be the difference in as far as the benefits? Is there?
So alternative plan number 2, the max out of pocket is $5,500.
Right.
Versus the current plan today is $8,150.
So that's where they're saving.
That's where the employee would be saving.
Okay.
Correct. In a nutshell.
So that's the biggest difference between the two plans?
That is the biggest difference between the two plans.
Okay. Thank you. Has anybody maxed that out?
Well, it was, very hard for employees to even, like, seek attendance because we had such a high deductible. And since,
So they didn't wanna go get,
since most of the employees didn't purchase gas this year, cause it was, it had to be paid $100, per month by the employee. Most of them, didn't meet the deductible.
If you go to the last page that I asked you to pull, which is number 14, this will break it down for us. If AGUA said, okay, we're gonna go ahead and pay the increase, right? We're gonna pay 100% of all of it, it would cost you $751 or $754, depending on which plan you wanted. If AGUA said, no, Pierre, we're not gonna do that, we may pay 50% of the GAP plan and 100% of the medical, still the dental and the life, it would cost you $708.19, which is an increase of $4.64, but you would be helping the employee with 50% of the gap cost. Okay? On the right side, it'd be $716.46. Because it's a different gap cost because of the coverage. And if I was saying, I'll tell you what, what's my last alternative? It's 25% of the gap cost that we would help cover, and 100% of the employee only. Your rate would be $683.75 or $695.11. Yes, sir.
So what's the fee or what's the amount that the employee has to pay that we're paying that 50 or 25% out of?
When they go to the doctor, that's their fee, right?
No, the gap, on the gap.
So the gap
Like
cost.
she just said that
It was
last year they would
$100.
pay $100 or $100.
Yes.
Yes.
So what is, so it's $100 a month that the employee would be paying?
It's about 100 and, if we paid, if we had the employees paid, average about 100 and, what was it, 109?
So right, this,
Right.
for the renewal rates, it went down because we're proposing a new company, and the one we had this year, it was based on age brackets. So depending on the age, whatever age they fell, the difference
That
was
would be their gap premium per se or gap, payment, right?
Correct.
the amount?
So right now, the fixed amount would be what, 80.91, right? 80.91. With the past one that we had, it was depending on your age. So we had some employees that their amount was like 224, and then we had another one that
For
was like
100.
140, and then depending on your age.
So what we did a composite rate instead of an individual bracket. So your older guys, the ones that are actually using the plan, it's another $220 that I'd have to ask them to put up in order to cover their max out of pocket. The younger ones, no problem, because
Yeah.
they're not getting sick.
Yeah, they're not gonna use it.
That's where the difference in the premium, but this year we composite rated, so everybody's gonna pay the same rate.
Okay.
And so what I'm saying is, we pay 100% of the employee only part, and then help them with, I'm just making a suggestion, if we pay 100%, there's your rates, 50%, there's your rate, and 25%, there's your rate, or we're not paying any of the gap. That's up to you.
You don't have, no way here that, you don't have, you only put what's required by law. No dental, no life, you don't have any numbers like that?
Yes,
There's dental, there's,
No, we pay 100% of it.
yeah, there's dental.
Yeah, but what happened, we don't need to pay dental or life, right?
you guys are paying 100%
Yeah,
of
but
it.
we don't need to pay it.
No, you don't.
Yeah, how much is that? How much would that be?
Your rate would be $677.05. Go back to page 1.
Right, and right now, I'm at the last page, so it's 683 with dental and life included, right? On the last page,
Yeah, but 683 including 25%
Of the gap,
of the gap also.
okay.
like $22.
So my
That's
employee.
the best option for the company, and I think,
Okay, if you go to page 2, it'll answer your question. What is the true cost of the major medical only? You look at page 2. $633.96 or $648.41. That's only medical only.
okay.
And what about the
Dental
committee?
rate is like a $16 per employee, $16.70 per employee per month. So it result in a yearly cost saving around $12,000 to $13,000 roughly, because dental rate itself is extremely low
Right.
compared to the health rate.
Right.
And we do have it within the budget, right?
Yes, we've been paying for dental and life for always been that, because the cost is so less that by taking it away, district is not saving much. Because as I say, the dental cost itself for a whole year, the district is paying is $13,000, $14,000 roughly, because it's $16.70 per employee, and life is even lower than that.
Yeah. If you guys want to look at, and we'll come back to the medical on page 2 to cover that, but if you guys want to go to page 4. So currently with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, you have 2 different dental plans, and we mix those with Mutual of Omaha, which is the company that's already doing all of your supplemental. So basically, we came down on the premiums by going to a new carrier, which is Mutual of Omaha, on both of your dental plans. Okay? You're going from $1,670 to $1,555, from $2,948 to $2,801. That's the employee's choice. Go to page 5. Again, we're going from Guardian to Mutual of Omaha for the, this is for the vision plans, from $9 to $7, from $13 to $9. Those are the 2 different vision plans.
That's for the employee.
That's for the
That's
employees,
right.
yes, sir.
That's
And
right.
the employee, how do they make their selections? Like, I want the high plan or I want the low plan? Is that what they choose?
Yeah,
They meet with, when open enrollment comes, they have a one-on-one, and then they go over all the options and all the.
But we're
benefits.
still covering it at 100%.
No, not
No,
for
not the vision, just
Not the vision?
No, just
The dental.
and life.
for dental. So
But
they have the option to upgrade, and then they'll pay the difference for the dental.
Okay, that's.
So we go for the low plan as an example, and then they want the higher plan, they pay the
They
difference.
pay the difference, okay,
Correct.
got it.
And then let's go to page 6. That's the life insurance. Again, we did the Blue Cross Mutual of Omaha, same rate. The only difference is the Mutual of Omaha got a 2-year rate guarantee. It's the same money, same 50,000. Page 7 is just the additional accidental death and dismemberment. Again, going from staying with Mutual of Omaha. The last page 8 is going to be the short-term, long-term, short-term disability. Mutual of Omaha, the renewal, it didn't change. The page 9 is the voluntary long-term disability, again, staying with Mutual of Omaha. Page 10, critical illness, which are the other benefits that the employees pay 100% of. Page 11, voluntary accident, same, staying with Mutual of Omaha. And page 12 is the hospital indemnity plan, again, staying with Mutual of Omaha. So going back to the major medical, just the true cost. Remember, you're going from your current to your renewal from $644.81 to $677. And on page 2, it shows you what you would be paying if you did not shop it out. That's what you would be paying, $677.05, but since we did, you've got 2 different plans. One at $633.96 or the $648.41 medical only.
What did the committee discussion?
We decided on alternate plan 2, 2,500 deductible. And then also it was zero generic for the medication, right? $0
Correct,
for
it's
the
absolutely
generic.
free.
And compared to the previous plan, that they
15.
have to pay 15, so that was a savings. And then we were going back and forth between 100% on the gap, 50% and 25, and we ended up at 50%.
That sounds like
Back
reasonable.
several years back, we used to pay 100% of the gap. But I don't know what happened this past 2 years that things changed.
So give us a final number, I mean, how much we end up paying right now, with
Without any
Plan
gap
one.
or
Yeah.
with gap?
the gap?
Can you give us the difference between the 50% and the 25%?
Yes. So the 50%, you're actually, it'll increase by $4.64 at 50% if you guys pay 50% of the gap.
From the previous, from the
Today,
current one?
with the
Okay.
current, with the plan,
Okay,
So it's just an additional $4.
$4.64.
At
That's where we see
50%.
the
On
difference.
plan 1, on plan option 1.
yeah.
Okay? On alternative plan number 2, for,
What page are you on?
I'm on page,
Page
should be
2.
number 13. This one.
13?
Oh, page 13.
Got it.
So 44.6, you're looking at about, I'm gonna call it an even $15. If you go with alternative plan number 2, a $15 increase.
So it's better to go with 2. I mean,
Yes, because the max out of pocket is less. So the ones that do not buy up to the gap,
We
the
kinda
max
go-
out of pocket's only $5,500 versus $8,150.
right.
So, what is the minimum of employees that need to participate on the gap?
About 11.
11.
11.
So that's the minimum. At least 11 employees need to participate.
Yeah, we don't get 11, they will not give us the gap.
And do you all foresee them 11 signing up?
At a lower cost, yes. Last year this year we had a lot of people excited, but then because of their
Good.
age, a lot of them had to,
They
like
got
it was gonna be
discouraged.
a lot, yeah.
Last year we had 5 people sign up total, but remember that the costs were higher. It was on a age bracket like Nancy mentioned, and running 100 and district portion was lower. But let's say if we contribute 50%, probably employees paying $40, and I think I think it's pretty high chance that we got 11 employees.
Yeah, so that way they'll be informed that if they pay the gap insurance, that anytime they go to see a doctor, it'd be at no cost to them. Or what is the,
It would help them meet
their deductible?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that is applied to procedures
procedures.
only. They still have access to generic medicines and
Medicine
stuff
at
without,
zero.
but when they go to the procedures, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So the best one would be the
50%.
BCBS alternate 1,
Number-
545,000 a year.
Alternate 2.
No, alternate 2.
Alternative
Because
2.
the deductible.
Because the one has the $5,000.
No
So it'll
deductible,
be
Yeah.
3,000 more than what we pay right now.
correct.
Okay.
But it's for 69 employees.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
and
then
then
it's not a whole lot of
we had a lot of complaints.
difference with.
But those
not
ones
saying
that
about
need it,
5,000,
it's
it was
more
too high.
affordable to them to where they'll seek to get the services as opposed to not getting the services
Right.
because it was too high.
Right.
Okay, vámonos, so that's
I-
the best one?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay,
I would, I make a motion to
second,
go with alternate 2.
And 50% on the gap.
50% on the gap.
Represented on the gap, and 50% on
sí,
the
lo
gap.
que dice.
We have a motion by Ms. Perez. I have a second by Mr. Perez. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Item
you all
number
very
four.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number
you for
4,
presenting.
discuss possible action updating employee contribution percentages for the Texas County and District Retirement System, TCDRS. Mr. Salinas?
Yes, sir, Mr. Vice President, members of the board. Attached to the item, we have the current plan and proposed plan. Currently, the district, as everybody knows, we're under the 4%, 4% employee contribution, and of course, the district matches that 2 to 1, right? We have been exploring this for more than 6 months now, looking into different options. So based on data that we have acquired, looking at other districts, municipalities, we have found that, other close municipalities to us, they're up between the 5 and the 7. And just to give you differences in percentages in cost, right? That's the bottom line, right? So currently, the district under 4%, the district pays $133,461. With the TDRS changing it to a 5%, the district will pay $174,977. That's a difference of $41,515.
Where are you reading from?
That's
Here?
data that
Or you're on
that's
this-
data that I have
Okay.
as far as the differences in cost. For 6%, the district will pay a difference of $83,000, going to $216,492. And for 7%, which is the max out, we cannot go past 7%. The district will pay $124,000, more from the actual 4%. As you know, we did an employee contribution survey, and for all employees that we currently have, and this survey was just to get an idea how the employee feels going from 4% to 5%, or from 4% to 6%, or from 4% to 7%. So the maximum of employees that voted to go with the 5% was at 40% of the overall employees, and then number 2 being 6% at 26%. So in reality, we're between those two, 5 and 6%, as far as the employee survey goes. And
Do you have that graph, or what was it? Can you repeat the numbers again?
yes,
So additional money, we'll be paying 76,000 than what we're paying right now?
If we are go to 5%, we're gonna pay additional 41,500.
Will be total
And the
76.
6%, we're gonna pay around additional 83,000.
83,000. The difference from the 4 to
But like the average on the state, more or less for like entities as us,
the average on the state, as far as the research that we have done, the average is it's 5-6%.
Yeah.
5-6%. Yeah. Maximum, of course, is 7.
Oh, yes, I see
That's
this one, but
that's the top.
the
But
survey, we don't have the survey, right?
yes, let me
The
repeat
the employee survey, which was 5%?
The employee survey was 5%. The maximum, the 40% of the
40%.
employees voted to go to 5% based on, because they're gonna get a
They also
deductible from
gonna
their
have
check,
to-
and of course, then the district will pay the 2-to-1
Match.
match on that. And then 23% opted to keep it at 4%, 40% at 5%, 26% at 6%, and 11% at 7%. Those are the current employees that we have right now.
Because district match it to 2-to-1, but they're gonna be also deductible from employee paycheck. Currently, we are at 4%, and we are matching it 2-to-1, but it's not exactly we put to the 2-to-1 amount, because as we mentioned in the last meeting, the TCDRS pool reduced our rate discounted that Nancy just passed on. I believe it's 5.97 for 5%. Oh, that's it.
When was the last time?
The survey did reflect that employees feel more comfortable at a 5%,
yes.
because it was
Starting them off,
drastic.
that, starting them off slowly.
Yes, right.
So that they can, later start putting away, because those going out, because they can appreciate it, but those just barely starting there, they feel that hit monthly.
And it is optional for them, right?
No, it's mandatory. It's mandatory.
And it has to be fixed, changed for everyone.
Yes,
All employees.
it's across the board.
And the question, Mr. Perez, if it was changed right before, it hasn't been changed
Since when?
since it was.
Since district was created, it was always 4%. There was a discussion to change it in 2015, but it didn't change. But I would say that Hidalgo County, City of FAR, and City of Edinburgh, though they do have, City of Edinburgh and City of FAR have a TMRS, they are at 7%, and Hidalgo County have a TCDRS, they are at 7%.
What's TRS, that, do you by any chance know?
teacher retirement,
T-
that's
T-
It's about what
No,
time?
Texas
Yes,
municipal
but
retirement.
to kind of,
System.
the percentage that they take.
The
Is it-
TMRS is the same as TCDRS.
Yes, I know the municipal, I know the difference. There's
Oh.
TRS, TMRS, and then ERS for state employees, and then
Oh.
TRS.
TRS,
So
yes.
I'm just kind of seeing like, we get hit every month too with them taking TRS out for us, And so I'm just thinking, what's that percentage, I wonder? But,
Well, a lot higher than 5. I think.
Oh, definitely.
I think they're at 7. Okay, I recommend a motion, we move it to 5%.
second,
I have a motion by Mr. Perez. I have a second by Ms. Perez. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, discuss and possible action to authorize General Manager J.C. Kidd Engineering Services agreement with Norris Leal LLC related to analysis of feasibility planning, acquisition, and design of groundwater desalination plant, subject to available funding. Mr. Salinas?
Yes, sir. Mr. Vice President, members of the board, as you may recall, on previous meetings, we had the approval of the firm Norris Leal, which was conducted through an RFQ for the planning, consulting, and solicitation of bids for the design and construction of a groundwater desalination facility to meet the growing water demands of the district. At this time, we're at a point where we have been meeting with Norris Leal Engineering as far as the services agreement between AGUA Special Utility District and Norris Leal. Of course, we had our legal counsel as well involved in the language that we're going to be including, deleting, or adding into the contract. And of course, attached here with that item, we have that draft, and also we have the actual task cost summary for this, which is basically it's an evaluation, groundwater evaluation, engineering assessment, and so on and so forth. So at this time, I would like to invite Norris Leal just to give us history of the company so that the board can get to know them, and a brief summary of the actual work that is going to be generated through this work process. Mr. Jose Leal and Mr. Jesus Leal
Thank
are
you,
here.
Salinas. Mr. Vice President, members of the board, it's a pleasure to meet you. Jesus Leal with Norris Leal. I'm one of the principals. And let me introduce two of our members. Here with me, we have David Petrie, which is also one of the other principals, and Jose Leal, who is our senior technical engineering director. So first of all, let me just tell you and appreciate very much the selection of Norris Leal for this very important project of yours. And we will make absolutely every effort in our power to make this a reality and a success for you guys. So let me just tell you who we are. Norris Leal is also known as NRS Consulting Engineer back in 1988. NRS engineers came into the valley in 1988. NRS is Norris, Rise, and Stone. So one of the old members is still, is with us. I joined the firm in 1990 after a tour of duty in the U.S. Navy, which actually David and I were in a Persian Gulf together, and that's how he came about. And so I joined in 1990. And so I've been here ever since. You do the math. How long I've been around. Let me just tell you, NRS engineers, the old NRS engineers, which by the way is pretty much the same members. We just, over the years, over a course of 20 years, NRS went through changes and evolved to a much higher level type of profile of engineering firm. Including me as a youngin coming in 1990 to become a partner and eventually own half of the firm. When I joined the firm in 1990, coming just out of the Navy, David and I, although David didn't join until 2010 or something like that. But in 1990, NRS Engineers was actually the first engineering firm to implement desalination facility here in the valley. I don't know if some of you remember in Harlingen, Fruit of the Loom wanted to come to the valley, and they selected Harlingen as their platform. Obviously, they needed quite a bit of water, and Harlingen didn't necessarily have the water, and they needed certain high quality of water. And so the innovative project consisted of utilizing the effluent from the wastewater plant, not from the river and not from brackage, but actually the effluent, the treated effluent from the wastewater plant to go through a pre-treatment process and then through a reverse osmosis. That's how Fruit of the Loom, came into the valley, and eventually they did their die-in operations and left the valley sometime years later. But as you can see, desalination has been around for a long time. We're not strangers here in the valley to that. Again, over the years we evolved, and NRS turned into Norris Leal. Rise and Stone is NRS, Norris, Rise and Stone. Rise and Stone passed away, and we changed the firm's name to Norris Leal. David came into the picture later, and we're three firms. It's Norris, Leal, and David Petrie. Throughout all these years, we implemented Norris Leal in 2012. And ever since, and even before, during NRS, we implemented 6 or 7 desalination facilities here in the valley. So again, the valley is no stranger to desalination. We have drilled probably close to 30 wells, brackage wells, all in the same aquifer that we're going to be exploring, yours, which is what is called the Gulf Coast, aquifer. And just, in case you're asking the question, is there enough water down there? I get that question all the time. I'm not a groundwater hydrologist, I'm a chemical engineer, but obviously we have our groundwater hydrologist that we had for 30 years, and that question has always been asked, and so the answer is yes. There's plenty of water to go around, for you guys to implement your project and more. As you know, we have a drought condition right now, and pretty much a lot of the entities are looking into groundwater, and so there'll be plenty to go around. Ironically enough, the same groundwater hydrologist that we have is the guy that has done all the groundwater wells on the entire area, all the way from Brownsville to here. So it'll be interesting and be very beneficial, because he's got all the modeling and all the components needed to understand the dynamics of the Gulf Coast aquifer. Norris Leal nowadays is a very versatile type of engineering build firm. So, we have evolved into not only design type of projects, conventional projects, the typical design, bid, construction management kind of thing. We have evolved into a design build, and also into a design, build, and operations. So we have all these capabilities. We don't depend on a contractor for startup of a plant when they build it. We actually help them to start it, but then after we let them go, then we're going to be here for you, running the plant for as long as we need to, in order to train and ensure your guys, can take it over at whatever time, 3 months, 6 months, a year. I mean, we've been there, done that. Norris Leal is one of these firms that have evolved or grown kind of what I say from the valley out, not from outside in. We have grown. We've done projects in Houston and El Paso. By the way, David is in El Paso, and our other partner is in Austin. We have offices here in the valley, one in Harlingen and one here in Edinburgh. So we've been around for a long time, and I can assure you, we'll do everything in our power to make sure your project is a success. Any questions on your end about us?
How many active projects do you have right now here in the valley?
Right now, we have 4 active projects, and one of them, interestingly enough, in case you haven't heard, is we are starting a seawater desalination project. And so we're the ones that got selected in Laguna Madre Water District, which we've been working for them since I really joined in 1990. And so, in your case, we're blessed that we're on this side, and we can tap into groundwater. And I say blessed because in their case, they cannot really tap into groundwater. All they have is the seawater. But then again, that's the water management strategy that they have available, and we have selected an ideal location over there. There's like a cove where their main office is located. And so in their case, we're going to be able to tap on this cove, bring the water close to their existing conventional water plant, so that we build the seawater right next to the conventional. And what that gives us the benefit is that other infrastructure is already there. Ground storage tanks, the high service pump station, roads, a lot of these things already in there. All we do is just focus on the pretreatment and the seawater RO. So it makes it more cost effective. In addition to that, the wastewater plant is close. It's about 200 feet away, something like that. And so the concentrate, I don't know if me saying the word concentrate, which is the brine that comes out of the RO. Raw water goes into the RO. You got 2 streams, the product water and what is called the concentrate. When you have seawater, they call it brine. And so the brine we actually over there is going to be blended with the effluent from the wastewater plant. That means that the concentrate, one thing to remember, over there seawater is 35,000 parts per million, so it's high in salts. The groundwater here in this area is between 3,000, anywhere between 2,500 total dissolved solids, or salts, if you want to call it that, excuse me, to 4,000 TDS. So if you can see 35,000, you know, an average of 3,000. So it's a big difference. Over there, we need more power to run the water through the system than we need here. All right, but again, all these components that we're going to be doing over there help us to do a much cost-effective project. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because we're going to be doing the same thing with you, although it's brackish groundwater. We'll do everything in our power to try to find the right location, you know, for you. You've got a lot of land. I know you have a lot of growth coming up. And so, you know, we got to locate the plant in the right location. I know you also are in the process of building sometime in the future a conventional water plant from the river. So is it possible that we put them commingle, you know, one next to co-location, one next to the other, so that the product water from the RO can mix with the conventional water plant? Now you've got a much better water quality coming out into your distribution system. As compared to, you know, you can also do it as standalone. Conventional water plant over there, seawater or brackish over here, no problem. It can be done. But having it together, just like I'm talking about in Laguna Madre, which we've done in many other locations, try to put them all together, makes it for a more cost-effective operation. And not only that, your operators are in the same location. You know, they can go to the conventional, they can go, you don't have to hire a whole bunch of guys over here and a whole bunch of guys over here. You know, it depends how many operators you got right now. It's possible that what you got is enough. We train them, you know, you maintain that level of proficiency in what you got. So anyways, that's what we got. Real quick, just as Mr. Salinas was saying, we provided you with a scope of work for planning, which is the first phase. This scope of work and this work order is to come up with what the Texas Water Development Board calls a feasibility engineering study. They call it an FER. So once we complete this study and the report that we come up with, it can be used for any financial institutions, any place that we go for funding, whether it's the Texas Water Development Board, whether it's the Bureau of Reclamation, whether it's the USDA Rural Development, any of those. The report can be used for any of these locations.
You have that project like the one you did in Alice where the company comes in and you guys supervise the work and all that?
No, which one?
Like in Alice?
Oh, in the city of Alice.
Yeah,
I mean, we are doing a project in the city of Alice as the overviewing, I guess, a project that is being done on a what is called PPP, which is private-public partnership.
Because asking for money, we've been asking for money the last 5 years, and we don't have the money, but we have the need of water. So
How did Laguna Madre get funded?
Well, right now, the way they're going to get funded, Laguna Madre, like in 2015, actually passed a bond to do desalination, as a matter of fact. But ever since, they really have not been moving forward. Until now, they decided to go forward. And so, but in reality, they allocated a certain amount of money for the project. And I can assure you the cost for any facility, whether it's conventional or brackish, back in those days, so 2010, or even before that to now, unfortunately, the cost has increased.
Right.
But anyways, we actually went to the Texas Water Development Board to get engineering funding for the planning phase, which is, in the case of a seawater, we have to do the same thing we're going to do, you know, with you, but over there, it takes it a little step higher. We have to do a piloting. You know, we have to put a small little plant to test the process to make sure that we can treat what we're going to be pulling out. But at the end of the day, that we have funding from the Texas Water Development Board to get the first phase, which is the planning phase. And then we're also going to be starting the design plans and specs for this facility. You know, we're trying to be, as you probably heard the terms, shovel ready. You know, you probably heard the word shovel ready, which means we're trying to have plan specs, piloting, approvals by TCEQ, anything that we need. So when we go to any of these funding entities, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
The funding is available, funding is coming in, Now, the Bureau of Reclamation has, Texas Water Development Board does not have any funding right now that is any type of grant, but the Bureau of Reclamation does, We don't know exactly what. There's been talks about 50-50. We actually having talks with them about a 50-50 for Laguna Madre Water District. We had conversations about you guys, our side, and there is potential, but, hopefully we can tap into it. They have grants that could be as much as 90-10, 90 grant, 10 a loan. I mean, that would be great if that is possible. They mentioned that it's possible that type of funding goes away, but they're not sure. So certainly we are on the lookout, and we're going to continue the conversation with them, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that you get the best funding that you can. We recently completed a project for a small entity, Bruni, Bruni Water Supply Corporation in Bruni, who nobody wanted to help them, but we were there. And we actually, believe it or not, with the help of many people, many good people that helped them, these guys had 95.5. Now, this was for the rural development, USDA rural development. But we had to beat the bushes everywhere to try to get to that point. So we're going to do the same here. We're going to be moving several things at the same time, all the way from looking at the groundwater resources to implementing or trying to come up with the feasibility engineering report, which is a requirement. And at the same time, be talking to all these funding entities and whoever we need to talk to in order to see what is the best approach, for you. And as you guys meet on a monthly basis, we certainly be glad to come and give you an update of what's going on every month, because this thing is a moving thing that goes every day. There's something. So anyway, that's kind of what's going to happen.
How much time do you think?
Sorry?
How much time?
Well, the feasibility engineering report can take 6 months. It's possible that we do it in less time. But like I said, this is a moving part, so it's not just a feasibility engineering report. We're going to be talking to all these entities and trying to do this, but we're going to try to do it at least in 6 months, hopefully less.
I would like to move this item into make a motion to move this item into executive session to get advisement from our consultation with attorney.
Yes, I recommend.
Thank you.
I have a motion by Ms. Perez. So I have a second.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Second by
Good to meet
the
you.
Hoyos. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, discuss and possible action or approval of one-time supplemental pay for AGUA employees. Mr. Salinas.
Yes, sir, Mr. Vice President, members of the board, as part of the budget that was approved last year for this fiscal year, the direction that we had with the board at that time is to give a one-time supplemental pay of $500 to the employee. Currently, we have full-time, we have 60 employees, and we have one part-time employee. Now, the overall $500 does not include the federal, the Medicare, the TCDRS, which we have added. So in reality, the total cost that is going to cost AGUA per employee, which was discussed at that time during the budget meeting in 2023, is $566 per employee. So on a nutshell, the overall amount, the cost that will cost AGUA for the 61 employees is $38,564 with 47 cents.
We budgeted for it, right?
Yes, last year budgeted.
But it's a total of 500, right?
Total of 500 for the employee. AGUA will pay the additional $66 on
Additional $66 is our contribution to Social Security, Medicare, and TCDRS, which is mandatory even with the bonus.
Right.
Yeah.
So that means they'll get the full 500 rather than like the 4 something minus the,
Yes.
yeah, like the way it is.
I make
So
a
moved.
motion.
Mr. Salinas, 38,000 what?
The total amount will be $38,564.47.
Motion. Second.
Nobody wants to take this into executive, you, Mr. Choa, or talk more about it?
And
Something
sorry,
like that?
I don't know if everyone heard, but there was a motion and a second. The
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did,
For this item? For this-
Yes, Ms. Perez motioned and then,
I second.
Mr.
okay. So I have a motion by Ms. Perez, I have a second by Mr. De Hoyos. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, discussion possible action to authorize general manager to apply for NetBank Community Assistance Program grants for Palmview Collection System Phase 2.
Yes, sir, Mr. Vice President, members of the board, this item, before you, it's, well, we had a meeting with NetBank, with Mr. Carlos Acevedo, and I know that Sam, was present there at that time, at that meeting. So I was looking into the possibility of completing the phase 2. As you may recall, we went out for bids, for phase 2 of the project, and we had alternates, right? That alternate included El Barquito area, which is, north of, Business 83, which the total cost of that was approximately $1.5 million. So we had left on the actual grant, we had left approximately $2.5 million, which was just to cover the base bid, which included the projects that we're currently working right now that Sam will give an update here in a few minutes as well. So we talked to Mr. Carlos Acevedo from NetBank Phase 2, and there's a possibility for the district to apply for what he called a CAP, which is the Community Assistance Program for grants. And for this project, to complete this project, since we already have a shovel-ready project, we already have the plans, the specifications, and the approvals, environmental, everything has been approved. We have it as part of the plans. It was an alternate that we couldn't afford because of the grant monies, but there's this program that we can apply for and get a portion of that project funded through a grant, which is, it caps out at $750,000, and the full amount of the project based on the bids that we received was close to $1.5 million, $1.5 million, meaning that if we rebid the project, let's say for example, if we get awarded the CAP program, that $750, AGUA will have to pay the difference, which is $600 to probably $750,000 based on the bids that we received.
How much time do we need to repay that? How much, what's gonna be our payment monthly?
There's no payment back. We will pay the contractor directly after the $750 have
But the
depleted on the
$600,000,
grant.
where are we gonna get that money from?
That's something that I would like to talk to.
And so for that reason, to talk about that issue, and since it is connected to the Palmview collection, there are some aspects of this where I'd recommend that we take it into executive session under consultation with the attorney to talk about some of those aspects.
So
Yeah.
move.
Because at the end of the day, how much money will we be getting out of those connections?
Okay, so for the El Barquito area, there's approximately 39 connections, if I'm not mistaken, just for that area.
Yeah.
However, the depth of the sanitary sewer line will allow us to service an area of about 196 acres north of that. Of course, the developer will have to extend the line to tap into that sanitary sewer line, since it's deep enough so that we can extend the line northwest towards the properties that we have been looking into.
I'll make a second behind Ms. Perez to take this into
Yes, sir.
executive.
Okay, so I have a motion by Ms. Perez, I have a second by Mr. Perez to put it into executive session. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Right?
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, discussing possible action on order establishing public hearing date to consider revised water conservation plan and drought contingency plan, approving form and content of the public notice for the public hearing, authorizing the publication of notice.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board. This item, as you know, the district management has been in meetings with the county's efforts to have a more regionalized and uniform drought contingency plan among the different water entities in the county. recommend that we take this item into executive session to talk about some of the potential ramifications of the proposed changes. If the district wants to make changes to its drought contingency plan, what those changes would be, what the ramifications of making those changes are, et cetera.
Okay.
So move.
I have a motion by Ms. Perez.
Second.
I have a second by Dr. Elena Villarreal. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, discussion possible action on the change of date for December board meeting and selection of day and time for budget workshop. Salinas?
Yes, sir, Mr. Vice President, members of the board. We are proposing, attached on the item, we have a calendar, December 2024 calendar. We are proposing to change the meeting, the regular scheduled meeting for December 2nd, 2024 to December 16, 2024, and have a budget workshop on a Saturday morning on December 7th, 2024. That'll give us enough time to publicize the budget workshop, have it in place, pre-approved before we make the final approval on the December 16 meeting. So those are the 2 days that staff, of course, is recommending to have to change the board meeting to the 16th and have the budget workshop on the 7th, December 7th.
And in addition to that, having the regular meeting date on the 16th will provide enough time that if the board does wish to make changes to its drought contingency plan, there will be enough time for publication of the notice in the newspaper to allow for a 30-day notice for a public hearing on that date.
It's 3 day, right, Jeff? 3 day public hearing. 3 day. 30 day public hearing.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
I have a motion by Mr. Perez.
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Perez. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, District Engineers Report. Item A, Net Bank Technical Assistance Agreements or hookups.
Yes, sir, Mr. Vice President, members of the board, we have here with us Sames Engineering, Christopher, that will summarize the engineer's report on this next 2 items.
Thank you, Mr. Salinas. Good evening, Mr. Vice President, members of the board. I want to kick off with the Net Bank Technical Assistance Agreement Sewer Hookups Project. So based off of the last progress, we have moved up to roughly 57% completion. This last month, they continued with the yard line connections on Vassa Circle, which is they're close to wrapping up at this point. Last update I got, they're just looking to finish out all the cleanup, and they'll be done with that area. If you look at the second page, you'll see the map where you can kind of see more of what I'm talking about. What they also went ahead and continued on this past month was the sewer line on Acevedo Lane. And so now they're starting to work on the next street, leaving the sewer line with the service connections. And so everything's still going on schedule. Additionally, I'd like to make note, based off of the last board meeting, we had mentioned about the yard line connections to see how many we have done. So if you see the 3rd page, 4th page, and 5th page, these are the total list of connections that are planned. So you see we have a total of 92 connections planned, and to date we have 40 connections done. And I think 5 of those are because we don't have, are because there's lots that are not developed, so there's no need for a yard line, and it's just a cleanup, a service ready for them. So we're roughly 43% complete with the yard connections, and so far so good. We're still on a roll. No issues with the water table, and everything's going good.
On the televising, that
Yes.
got cleared up?
Yes,
I
that got
heard
cleared.
there was a situation
Yes.
there.
There were some issues there. It got cleared up. We just need to follow up on the scheduling to make sure where they're present and that it gets done. But everything got squared away.
As long as we don't get an additional change order.
No, there's no change order. Yeah, that was the main thing.
Yes.
We wanted to make sure there's nothing of that. But we're all good there.
Any other questions to the board?
Good news. Thank you. I'd like to see this spreadsheet.
The list. Okay, perfect. And if we need to change anything, by all means, please let me know. We can add whatever's needed.
The graphic and the spreadsheet really help visually see everything.
Item B,
Sure. So for item B, we have the Geographic Information System, GIS and mapping. So for this one, we're progressing. At this point, we're mainly pushing our survey team We're having a little bit of issues with getting the manholes out in Sullivan. Our focus is ultimately going to be to go 13 miles in Sullivan City, but we are progressing. We are anticipating finishing this coming month in November. Any other questions?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item will be the SH 495 Veterans Boulevard Utility Relocation and Adjustments Project. So for this project, we are still on schedule. We have completed our 60% set, and with this set, we're going to go ahead and start meeting with the City of Palmview, TxDOT, and all entities involved. So with the Palmview, we'll start having the conversations on the fire hydrants to see if they want to contribute so we can end those with this project. But so far, so good. Everything's going good.
Do you know when that meeting is gonna be?
I still need to schedule that meeting, but it'll be this coming month.
Thank you.
Would you like to be advised of the meeting time and date?
Yes, please.
Any other questions?
We're good? Good.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 11, General Manners Report. Item A is accept for financials. Mr. Salinas?
Yes, sir. Mr. Vice President, members of the board, here with us we have Mr. Park Naik, financial advisor that will summarize the September financials.
Good evening, the board. We're gonna go through financial first. We have a statement of net position as of third quarter end of the district, and our current asset is SI of 4 million, around 3.9 million, and we have a restricted assets as we see, and our liabilities, we have a current portion of long-term that is paid. The lease payment are made in the beginning of this month, and now we're gonna turn to revenue and expenses. We are third quarter in, which means 75% in. Our revenues are 72% of the budget forecast, like running 3% shy because of drought, and then we have also rain, so water collection is little behind, and our expenses are also 75%, running 1% side at the 74%. If you have any questions.
Any questions?
We're just
Next
looking at
item,
last
B.
month's. Yeah.
Item B.
Yes, about
The-
3% each month, right?
I'm sorry?
It's been like 3% each month?
Yes,
is
it's
that-
a flat from the summer,
last-
yes.
yeah.
3% of the revenue and the 1% side on expenses. Now we're gonna turn into our quarterly investment report. So this is basically an interest that we are on our checking saving account and a one CD we have. So it's our listed all our various bank account, but if you turn in the attention on second page, so far year to date, the total interest that district earned from January 1st to September 30th is $469,373 that we earn, and which is from our regular Lone Star Bank, our multi-bank security, our TxStar pools, and our escrow account. So as you all aware that we have a CD, one CD, and then which is at the 5%, and we also have a TxStar governmental pool, which currently we are getting around 5%. But that date is changed daily because it's saving and not fixed. But so far we are like a sigh of $500,000 on the total interest on, which is 469,000. Any questions?
Where's that number?
If you go to second-
Okay, 11, okay, I see it now.
It's the last number on second page, right?
I got it, thank you.
Thank you. It's the second page.
Yes.
Any other questions? Good. Item C, Mr. Salinas, Tomco.
Yes, sir. Mr. Vice President, members of the board, just to let the board know that the Thumbgill Inlet Booster was completed. We met with Pueblo de Palma
Oh, good, yeah.
residents out there at the Thumbgill Booster. Of course, there's some minor details that we need to finish as far as the access, all-weather surface road, and again, I know that the board had asked for, so that we can enclose, the perimeter of the booster as well, but the actual main building and components of the inland booster are completed. This is, where we met with actually La Lupe and of course, Pueblo Palma residents. We were out there. I know Mr. Tony Quintana gave a brief presentation on that. Mr. Ricardo Perez was also with us at that meeting as well. And these are some of the pictures that we have. Just
what was their response? Was it, how was, like,
picture, right?
they were good?
they were good. Yeah, they were good. They were very, very
I thought that was
Pleased
excited
with
about
being-
that we have that in place, and that is gonna, of course, is gonna help that northwest
Right.
section of Peñitas as well. But they were,
Like,
excited
what feedback
about
did
it
they give you all?
to have that done. So that's some of the pictures that
Where is this one located, sir?
that have a 4 mile line and Tumgill on the northwest corner. The northwest corner. So these are just some of the few pictures that we had as well. So yeah, so that's that. But the project in essence is completed. Just those minor details that we need to complete as well. And it was a $399,000 project.
So it's working right now.
It's working, yes, sir.
Okay.
339?
399. So that's the project completion on that.
Item D.
Going into the next item, the water booster generators, as the board know and approved earlier on the year, the board had approved 2 main generators. One that is going to be installed, or it's already installed, on 3 Mile Line booster station, and that's on the vicinities of Abram and 492. And the other one, it's in Sullivan City. That's on FM 888, behind the elementary. So this is the installed cap generator, and this is for the 3 Mile Line booster standpipe. And that's the ATS, and of course this is the generator, picture of the generator installed already on the FM 886 booster station, which is just right next to Sanford Dice Elementary. So this is the equipment when we receive it, and of course it's already being installed. We're going to have startups coming up to test them, but we have already the electrician working on that. But they have
The other one didn't work for years, right?
4 years, yes, sir. We had a hard time getting
Did we
that
dispose of it,
fixed.
or?
We're gonna put
In auction.
those to
Auction?
in auction, yes, sir. We're gonna prepare this so that we can come before the
It's
board.
no
to-
refunds, because.
No refunds. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the surplus is for next month.
Yes.
That's
We're
what
gonna be working
Albert
on the
had
list, but first we have to bring that before the board so that we can declare them surplus, and then we can go ahead and put them out to auction.
Yes.
Item E, draft contingency plan.
Yes, sir. As far as the drug contingency plan, I know that we have an agenda item that will go into executive session, but just to let the board know the status of the Falcon Reservoir and the Amistad Reservoir. On the Falcon Reservoir, and attached I have the handouts as well. As of today, we're at 13.2%. A year ago, we were at 10.8%. As far as the Amistad Reservoir, as of today, we're at 26.8. And a year ago, we were at 29.7. The average, we'll give you an average of approximately 20%. So we're on the 20% mark average. If you can see on this data, you can see the actual historical data, and that's from 1961 to 2021. And you can see how it has, dropped in between the years. For example, in 1961, we dropped to about the same level, and in the vicinity of 1998 to 2005 or so, the levels were drastically low as they are today as well. So it's a fluctuation depending on what's rainfall and hurricanes. But that's on the Falcon Reservoir. So this is just data to I keep bringing this to the board just for you to see the actual levels, and of course we'll discuss the drug contingency plan at the executive as well.
Okay. Item number F, presentation and honor service for Directors Tejerina and Diaz. As this being my last official meeting, I would like to say some words, a little bit of summary when I first started back in 16, for the record. In 2016, when I was elected, I worked very hard on several achievements. Within 6 months, we lowered the water meter prices from $4,172 to $2,595. I also helped secure the NetBank $6 million grant for the Palmview Connection Project. We also installed a 36-inch water meter at the Avon Reservoir, which saved us 23 million gallons per month. We also negotiated a new contract with the Irrigation District that saved AGUA an average of $425,000 per year. I also voted against the PSI contracts, severance payouts, and other wasteful spending, and that's all on record how I voted in favor for the district. When I was re-elected in November of 2020, I was appointed as AGUA president till December 2021. I know I had a hard task ahead of me since there was a lot of stuff that was going on. I started by terminating about $350,000 in wasteful contracts to meet budget and get us in the black. Parts, you were here when all that happened. We updated our bylaws that hadn't been updated in years. Jared, thank you, and Matt. With the help of our staff, we created a mobile app and added more options for our customers to pay their bills. Thank you, Pam, Cindy, everybody. We didn't increase the rates in 2021 to give some relief to our ratepayers. We also refinanced the waterworks and sewer system bonds that saved the district $2.6 million. We created a new website that saved us over $42,000 per year. We hired our current general manager, Mr. Roberto Salinas. We finally got the Manjola project up and running, which had been stalled for 2 years because of lack of funding. Now it's finally terminated, or completed, sorry. There are many more achievements we did when I was president. Now I would like to first thank God for allowing me the ability to serve for 8 years and 6 months on the AGUA board. To my family, thank you for all your support. Thank you to the people who voted and elected me to my 2 terms to be their voice on the board. To all staff, thank you for all your help to keep AGUA moving forward. Keep up the great work. Mr. Salinas, it was a pleasure working with you. You have been a great asset to the district. You have done what we asked of you. Keep up the great work, and thank you for everything. Senator Hinojosa, it was great working with you to create different Senate bills for the betterment of AGUA. Thank you for your continued support. To our legal counsel, Matt and Jared, thank you for always looking out for us so we won't get in problems. Now, to my past and current board members or directors, it was a pleasure working with everyone. I know sometimes we wouldn't agree on everything, but it's part of being on a board. I always stood my ground, was never coached or told how to vote, and never had any personal interest. I always voted in favor or against by gathering information, my knowledge, and my heart for the betterment of AGUA and the ratepayers. Again, thank you to everyone for all the support throughout these 8 years.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Figuerina. I just something that came into my mind right now when you were reading Mr. Figuerina saying the farewell. It just reminded me of the first 3 months that I was here hired with AGUA. Those were the hardest 3 months here in AGUA that I have worked with. I know Mr. Tijerina, and I know the finance team and administration and all the employees, legal counsel. We worked very hard to bring AGUA up to par. Those 3 months, it was very, very hard, and we did it, and we're continuing the good work. So thank you for that, Mr. Tijerina. At this time, I would like to present a token of appreciation, and I know we have Mr. Perez and Ms. Perez, which are the officials. If you can come to the podium so that we can present the token of appreciation. First, I'm going to do Ms. Diaz. I know she couldn't be here with us, but after 4 years of service, November 2020 through November 2024. We have expressed our deepest appreciation. Ms. Maribel Diaz, these awards presenting in recognition of your visionary guidance, exceptional leadership, and steadfast commitment during your tenure as an AGUA Director of AGUA Special Utility District. From AGUA Board and the Board of Directors and staff. This is for okay. Mr. Tijerina, in grateful of appreciation, after more than 8 years of service, June 2016 through November 2024, we express our deepest appreciation. Mr. Homer Tijerina, this award is presented in recognition of your visionary guidance, exceptional leadership, and steadfast commitment during your tenure as a Director of AGUA Special Utility District. From AGUA Special Utility District Board and staff, we present this to you. Want to take a picture?
Yeah. Can I do it over here or?
On top.
On top, okay.
With all the board of directors. Usted?
No.
Do we have to move the chairs or?
I can hold Maribel's.
Move it or? Put it high.
Thank you.
Now it's all in y'all's hands. I'll always be around, y'all know that.
Okay.
Item 12, executive session. As provided by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Section 551.071-551.091. The Board of Directors may convene in closed executive session to deliberate, discuss, and consult regarding matters listed on proper motion or approval of any items said above under Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney. Item A, cost number C-3353-20-I, SMB Infrastructure and AGUA Utility District and District Board of Hidalgo County, Texas, 398th Digital District. Item B, personal matters. Item C, system capacity. Item D, Los Ebanos subdivision and Texan Crossing subdivision. Item E, appraisal of properties. And then we're also gonna move item number 5, discuss some possible action to authorize general manager to execute engineering services agreement with Norris Yacht LLC related to analysis, feasibility, planning, acquisition, and design of groundwater desal plant subject to available funding. Item number 7, discussion possible action to authorize general manager to apply for a NetBank Community Assistance Program grant for Palmview Collection System Phase 2. And item number 8, discussion possible action on order establishing public hearing date to consider revised water conservation plan and drought contingency plan, approving form and content of the public notice for public hearing, and authorizing the publication of notice. I need a motion to go into executive session at 7:24. I have a motion by Dr. Villarreal.
Second.
I have a second by, who wants it? I have a second by Mr. Ochoa. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.